Okay, so let's take this plate. I've attached the bolt onto the gear and let's slip it in place. There you go. And make sure this bearing goes back in there. So the there's a widened piece at this end, and that's the one that's going to be on the outer side, like so. So it goes in there. And let's take one of the stops again that has 4 set screws, and that's the one that will keep this these pieces in place. So let's put the set screw in the inner hole right there. Okay, so I got the set screws in place. So like the other one, assume that there's gonna be something that's gonna go at this end. Okay, so I've attached this bolt, the rod onto the gear, and it's gonna go through this bearing piece here. But before we do that, we have a standoff that we have to attach right here. So it goes onto these 2 holes right here. So put the screw on the other side. I'll show you. I'll finish it off and I'll show it to you after I'm done. So let's take the standoff and put it in place like that. There's one more. Take the screw, thread it through, and the standoff goes through. There you go. So it's gonna be on this side, same side as this X piece. Now that that's done, let's thread through this rod through the bearing like so, and we add the stop through it like that and tighten the set screws, and you're done. So just as a test, this should rotate freely. Okay, now the next one is the servo is gonna go through here. Okay, before we mount the servo, by the way, we have to put this piece at the end right there. You see this stop? This piece will go into the back of the stop. It'll secure it in place, and we're gonna put the screws into here like so. So let's do that. Okay, so let's grab the screw, fasten it in place. There you go. So that's done. Now it's going to act like a brake for this piece right here. And then we're going to have the set screw in here, but I'm not quite sure how it's gonna be oriented yet, so I'm not gonna attach the set screw there later, but I know, keep in mind that you're gonna have to lock it in place. Okay, next we're gonna put the servo. The servo labeled CM2002. This is the G26 servo, and you see these aluminum fittings here. That's what's gonna go behind the servo, like so, like that. That'll be the nut that receives the screw. So the servo will go in this direction. Notice that the motor is on this side, or the gear is gonna be on this side. So you slip it in place, screw it in place over there. There's also 2 other aluminum fittings on this back side of the servo, and then you're gonna put 2 more screws in there. Alright. Okay, so I have attached the servo in there, but I haven't tightened it in place yet. It still can move up and down, because like on the other servo, I haven't initialized it yet, so you can't really tighten it in place until you get it initialized. Now we're gonna attach the gear in there. So you just set it in place like that, and you screw it in place. So now we're ready to assemble this tilt frame. We have this piece, we have setting blocks right there, and the servo assembly that we just did, and the side plate that we just did before that. So you're going to screw it in place like so, and screw it in place like that. So I'll do it and I'll show it to you when it's done. Okay, so here's what it looks like. This one side panel here, this piece should be on this side, so you mount this piece, I should say, where this tab is located, and the servo assembly goes on the opposite side. So I'll mount the servo side on this side. Okay, so it should look like this. Now the next one is, see these 3 holes here, and there's only one on that side. The one hole is going to be mounted on this side, and the one for the 3 is on the opposite side, like so. But first we gotta mount the setting blocks right there. Okay, so I've mounted the mounting blocks onto this, and the next one is we're gonna mount this guy right there, and this piece at that end. Okay, so here's what it looks like mounted. So remember our GoPro frame, it will go on top of this like that. Okay, but now we're gonna mount this piece onto the Z frame right here. Just actually like this. The X mounts onto there, so I'm gonna attach it with a screw and we're done. So let's line up the holes and attach the camera mount with the tilt mount into the pan mount. There you go. Put more screws in there and we're good. Okay, so that's what it looks like. We've got this piece all ready to go. So now I just need to mount this part over like so. Put the screws in there. This is the hanging mount. Remember, it hangs below the aircraft. So we're gonna put the screws and we're done.